Hello again. In this lesson, we'll learn how to describe graphs for certification proficiency tests. It is very important to know that when we take a certification proficiency exam, especially in B2 level, we will be required to describe data on a chart or graph, either orally or in writing. Now, for that purpose, we must summarize the content of the graph and then talk about the changes in the data throughout the years. Now, normally these changes that we will describe will probably be big, and we can use the word significant or obvious or noticeable to describe them, or the changes can be small or slight. There are two ways in which we can describe the data in the graph. First of all, we can talk about the number of people or the percentage of people or the number of something that increased or decreased slightly, noticeable, and significantly. And finally, we will tell the years, for example, from 2017 to 2019, or between the years 2017 and 2018, or we can talk about what happened in the data in 2018 compared to 2017. The second way in which we can do this is that there was a slight or an obvious or a noticeable or a significant increase or decrease in the number of people or in the percentage of people who did something. So these are two ways, and now let's look at some examples. In the first example, we will compare handball. In 2017, there was 10% of people who practiced handball. In 2018, this number increased to 12%. So we can see that from 10 to 12, there is a small change, and therefore we will express this change in this way. There was a slight increase in the number of people who practice handball. The second way is the number of people who practice handball increased slightly. Let's look at a second example. In the case of judo, in 2017, there was 14% of people who practiced this sport. In 2018, this number went down to 3%. So we can talk about the change by saying there was a significant decrease in the number of people who practice judo, or we can say the number of people who practice judo decreased significantly. Let's practice with two other examples. Now, if we talk about the COVID cases, we can say that in September of 2021, there were 28,953 cases, but in September of 2022, this number decreased to 3,810. We can then talk about this change by saying there was a significant decrease in the number of COVID cases between September 2021 and September 2022. Or we can say the number of COVID cases decreased significantly between September 2021 and September 2022. Let's look at this last example. If we compare the price of a liter of gas in September 2021, it was 19 pesos and 68 cents. However, in September of 2022, this price went up to 21 pesos and 61 cents. So we can talk about this change by saying there was a noticeable increase in the price of a liter of gas between September 2021 and September 2022. Or we can say the price of a liter of gas increased noticeably between September 2021 and September 2022. Now, finally, to describe a chart, we must follow the steps below. Number one, we will describe the graph in general, the topic, the elements, and the meaning. For example, the graph shows, and then we explain the title, and then we explain the elements in the graph. For example, the red bar represents, and so on. Step number two, we will present a general summary of the graph. For example, we can say, generally, the data or the number of the graph shows that, and then we express the changes. Number three, we will present important specific details. In other words, the different increases or decreases that we can see in the graph. For example, we can say, surprisingly, the percentage of people who practice judo decreased significantly. And finally, number 4, we'll try to explain the possible reasons for the changes. For example, perhaps this is because, and then we give an explanation, or this might be because, and then we give an explanation. Let's look at one example of how we can describe a chart. This is the graph. We can see the different elements, and so step number 1, we talk about the general information that we can find in the graph. So step number 1, this chart shows the number of deaths due to distracted driving between the years 2014 and 2018. Step number 1, we talk about the elements in the graph. For example, here we can say the blue and green bars show the number of deaths during a period of 5 years, from 2014 to 2018. In step number 2, we talk about the data or the information in general. For example, here we can say that in general, the data shows that the number of deaths due to distracted driving increased significantly between 2014 and 2018. The next step is to talk about the details. So we can start by saying that, surprisingly, there was an obvious decrease in the number of people who died because they got distracted while driving from 2016 to 2017. The detail that we can mention is, for example, that, however, the number of deaths due to distracted driving increased noticeably between 2017 and 2018. And finally, we can explain the reasons for the changes. For example, we can say that the decrease in the number of deaths in 2017 might be because Bluetooth technology allowed people to use their phone without their hands, and therefore people got less distracted and they didn't have accidents that caused them death. So this is in general what we can say about describing graphs for a certification proficiency exam. Please practice and good luck.